Today's recipe is egg bread, also you can call it an egg muffin. For this recipe, I've got 1 cup all-purpose flour, half teaspoon salt, 2 tablespoons sugar, half teaspoon baking soda, 1 teaspoon baking powder. Here I've got 75 grams of butter which I've melted, which is around 1/3 of a cup of butter, or you can say 7.5 tablespoons of butter. Here I've got 5 eggs. These eggs are at room temperature. Always use room temperature eggs while you're baking your dish. Here I've got some mozzarella cheese, 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, and 3/4 of a cup of milk. Here I've got some cilantro, some green onions, and some 1 chopped green chili. I will also be using some pepper for this recipe. So my first step is to add vinegar to the milk. So let's start doing that. The reason why I'm adding vinegar to the milk is to make homemade buttermilk. But if you have store-bought buttermilk, you can most certainly use that instead of doing this. Since I don't have buttermilk at home, so I'm just making my own buttermilk. So what I'll be doing is I'm just adding the vinegar to the milk, and I'll give it a good stir. What this does is this thickens the milk, and I'll let it sit for about 5 minutes or up to 10 minutes till I'm ready to use it. Now my next step is to mix the dry ingredients together. To a bowl, I will be sifting my flour through a sieve. It's necessary to sift the flour so that there are no lumps formed in your batter. I'll also be adding baking powder, baking soda, as well as the salt. Just sieve everything through. Now I'll add in the sugar, give it a good stir. So this is our dry ingredient mix. Now I'll combine the wet ingredients together before combining the dry and the wet ingredients. You can see this buttermilk is ready. It's kind of thick. Now to this buttermilk, I'll add my melted butter. Give it a good stir. Make sure the butter has cooled down to room temperature. I'm just stirring everything well. Now I'll just crack this egg and add it to this buttermilk butter mixture. And mix it well. Pour this wet ingredients into the dry. And we need to mix this really well. Avoid lumps in this batter. Now you can see the batter has fluffed up a little bit. It's because of the baking powder and baking soda. This will make a nice spongy, soft egg bread. For this recipe, I will be using mini loaf tins. What I'll do is I'll butter each of these tins with a generous amount of butter so that once my egg bread is baked, it's easy to remove from the molds. While doing this, start preheating your oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and what we'll do is we'll bake this recipe for approximately 20 minutes or till it's done. Next step is to add the batter. I'll take a spoonful of batter and add it to the pan. So this is our first layer, and continue doing for the rest of the molds. I poured around 3 to 4 tablespoons of this batter in the molds. Now what I'll do is, to the remaining batter, I'll add my cilantro, green onions and green chilies and just give it a good stir. Now if you want, you can add bell peppers. I mean, the choice is a lot. You can be creative. You can add sweet corn to this batter, whatever you like. Now I'll keep this aside and use it towards the end of my recipe. Now after adding the batter to the mold, what I'll do is I'll add some mozzarella cheese, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a kind of a well, so that once this well is done of mozzarella cheese, I'll be pouring my egg over it, and I'll try my best to center the yolk within the walls of the mozzarella. That's the purpose of me adding this cheese here. And if you want, you can use cheddar cheese as well. So there are many options for this recipe. You can use salami, you can use corn, you can use whatever you want for your filling. Here I have some salami. This is chicken salami. So what I'll do is I'll just put it here around the edges of it. So I'm not going to use salami for all my molds, just 2 of them. Next thing is we will pour a cracked egg. Carefully. So this turned out better than adding the salamis. Sometimes if you add more ingredients, the egg yolk can shift around. Carefully add in the egg. Now I'll sprinkle some salt over the egg. If you don't want to season your egg, that's fine. But I like to season my eggs a bit. And I'm adding pepper as well. So this is completely your choice. If you want to do it, you can do it, or you can skip it. Next, I will top this layer with my remaining batter very carefully. So first I'll go around the egg yolk. And then I'll place it over the egg yolk. If you feel there's some gaps, like here it's a little gap left, you can just spread it a little more. I'll continue doing this same thing for the rest of the molds. I'm purposely spreading the batter first around the yolk so that my yolk doesn't break. Now if you don't want to use this whole egg in this bread recipe, then what you can do is you can just add any filling of your choice, like corn, like bell peppers, like if you have hot dog as well, you can add a hot dog. The choices are many. We can top it off with mozzarella cheese or cheese of your choice. Now if you want, you can sprinkle the tops with some paprika. A little more pepper if you like. And now I'll place this in my preheated oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit and bake it for a minimum of 18 to 20 minutes. So let's start baking. I've just removed these freshly baked egg bread from the oven. This is really very hot right now, so I won't be touching them. I will let them cool for around 5 minutes before I unmold them from here. It took me exactly 20 minutes baking time in a preheated oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So now I'll just wait for this to cool down before cutting it in and showing you how it looks. It's been approximately 5 minutes since I've let it cool down a bit. So if you don't let it cool down, what happens, the egg bread still sticks to the edges of the pan and then it doesn't come out easily. Here now you can see, since it's cooled down, it's moving easily here. So I'll just loosen all the egg bread from the edges of this tin before unmolding it. Now I can see it's already cooled down well. I'll just put it. You can see how beautifully it's cooked from here. Absolutely well done. I'll just cut into one of these and show you how it's cooked from within. Oops. Just cut it from the middle. And you can see the egg is beautifully cooked. This egg has cooked so beautifully from within. You can see this egg bread is soft and spongy. You can enjoy this for breakfast, for brunch, or whenever you like to have it. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Please click on the bell icon for notification of my latest videos. And thank you for watching. Enjoy!